Hey, what's up, everybody? CM here with a common sense perspective, trying to bring back common sense. All right, and that's my agenda here is to just bring back common sense because just too much stupid shit going on, and I'm tired of it. And I wanted to just kind of rein it all in and tell you guys what's really happening here, and just to really get you guys to think that hey, you know what? There's light on the other side of the rainbow here, if you want to call it that. All right, the pot of gold, right? And it's common sense, all right, because too much stupidity, idiocracy happening here. And I wanted to continue to talk about the fallout of this whole Trump Kamala debate, and some new information, as well as a new proposal from Trump. All right, that if if Kamala copies that, then she's just a straight. I'll just say a straight bitch. All right, come on, man. I was like, really. All right, so we'll get to that. All right, so let's just get on over to here. So here's the debate, right? So we all know about what happened with the debate. They said that Donald Trump took the L because she kept baiting him, and it got under his skin and things like that. But at the same time, if you really listen to some of this key stuff, all right, things like, for example, she still hasn't really made clear about anything about her policies, like to say, hey, this is what is happening. She makes these proclamations without any details, and it doesn't help that the stack is decked. The stack is of the deck is stacked, and really just against Trump on everything, right? Everything that they're doing. You're on ABC News, right? You have the so-called moderators that are really in favor of Kamala. So it was really 3 against 1. It was you could easily see that. I watched the debate, and I talked about it the other day that when watching the debate, you could even tell that they were really favoring her, leaning towards her, and they fact checked and questioned everything about what Trump said every time. Whereas for Kamala, they really didn't, right? And so that was pretty annoying. You could see that, you could feel that, right? That was what was happening. They try to act like they're fair and impartial, but they really didn't. They kept second guessing and questioning him, and that was pretty annoying, you know. So some good things that I wanted to bring about was um, that what's come to light of this, all right, is how, for example, she lied about things, right? And not only that, we'll cover the lie stuff in a second here. You come to find out that Kamala has connections with ABC, all right, and it runs deep in terms of connections, right? Because they're familiar with one another, friends, and not only that, the judge on the panel, the female chick, was a sorority sister of Kamala, which is her right here, this chick right here. She was the sorority sister of Kamala. So that's very, very questionable. That, okay, it's not only that you have these news agencies that's going to just really slant and skew anti Trump, right? With ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, right? And the list goes on and on. Whereas, on the right leaning side, I think is more fair. You'll have things like Sky News, you'll have things like Fox, you'll have things like News Nation, Newsmax, right? Pierce Morgan, another great one, who is impartial, but just really tells common sense, right? It didn't really do Trump any favors at all. Just like this whole election time, right? When they were trying to find a way to get him, just put in prison for stuff, right? Let's just say for stuff. Trying to dig up dirty stuff and say, all right, we're going to put him in prison for that. So far, he has successfully challenged and still here standing because it's a bunch of bullshit. And now with this whole debate and how she, lied about a lot of things, which I want to cover. I think there's a great coverage here I want to play. She lied about things, right? It made it like it was fact, but yet was not questioned by the panel, which was pretty annoying as well. So let's bring that up, all right? So here's a great clip here from Laura Schlesinger about Kamala's lies, and it wasn't questioned.
All right, now it's time to do what the fake debate moderators refused to do.
So here's that chick that was a sorority sister to Kamala.
And that's call out Kamala Harris's on her falsehoods. Of course, they fact-checked Trump 5 times compared to 0 for Kamala. So here are her 5 biggest lies. First, Kamala's favorite smear. Watch.
What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025.
So Project 2025, he's spoken about it many times. That I don't even know what's on Project 2025. I don't even know how I'm even connected to it. If they came out with this thing, and I got my own things to worry about. I got my own plans, and why you guys put me to this? It beats the shit out of me.
That the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again.
Fact, Trump had nothing to do with Project 2025, and what you heard last night was Trump's plan to make America safer and more prosperous, his ideas. Second, Kamala's phony defense of what are your constitutional rights.
This business about taking everyone's guns away.
Now I gotta stop right there. When did Trump ever talk about Second Amendment and taking anybody's guns away? Never. I've never heard him spoke about any of that. All right. If anything, the Democrats have always been about stepping on your Second Amendment rights, like we're dealing with right now in California with Gavin Newsom. And they're all about taking your guns away. They're all about restrictions and laws putting in place, all because the criminals that they let out of prison when they should be locked up, or they should be locked up for committing offenses if they're not locked up in the first place, but they're committing offenses, but they're not being locked up. They're being, here's an ankle bracelet, or here's a, pay the bail, or no, there's no cash bail. You don't have to worry about it. Just go ahead. But you got to appear in court, right? And shit like that. And they're using guns irresponsibly, but yet they want to take away our guns when we want to protect ourselves. Right? And we look at California, for example. Gavin Newsom is doing exactly that. Trying to continue to put restrictions for law-abiding citizens. It makes it tough for us to protect ourselves. And if you're in the major big cities, you have zero chance of getting a concealed carry gun because of the fact that these laws and restrictions that they put in place, which really makes it tough. Because only person that you can really carry is if you really got to go jump through some hoops, if you're like some high-level business person, I guess, or a celebrity of some sort, right? That you might be able to be granted that, and then other than that, law enforcement off-duty can carry. So other than that, you're screwed. The only other way you could carry would be in rural counties, like far away counties outside of major big cities along the West Coast especially, or the Bay Area or the LA vicinity. Farther away you are from the big cities, the better chance that you're able to get a concealed carry because of all the restrictions and laws in place. That doesn't favor the citizens. And they still want to put more restrictions on guns and all that stuff. Even buying ammo. They make you go through hoops to, rather than have it sent directly to your house, if you're not law enforcement, that is, you have to go to the gun shop to buy it. And it's like, come on, really? It's like, it's stupid. And so they're all about stepping on your Second Amendment rights. I don't know where she's coming with that. And she's going to lie about how, we own guns, we're blah, 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 blah. But she even instituted a buyback program a few years ago, and I don't see why she would all of a sudden not do that. I'm willing to bet she will push that agenda once again.
Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away, so stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
Well, who's lying? Kamala in 2019 pledged to enact a mandatory gun.
And she's trying to push back that stop lying about this stuff. That what's being said by Republicans is that, yeah, Democrats are all about taking your guns away, when she actually said it herself.
Buyback program, and just last month called for a ban on assault weapons. Third, Kamala knowingly took Trump completely out of context.
Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath.
Which is stupid. I mean, how can Democrats be really that stupid to say, oh, yeah, he said bloodbath, right? When it's like, how can you take it out of context? I mean, look at it, all right? So I looked up the bloodbath, comment here, right, from factcheck.org, and he was speaking at a, it wasn't a rally. It was more of a stage in, where was he at? Ohio? He was at Ohio. Okay, so it was a rally there. At Ohio. And he was speaking about the auto industry at large. And he was speaking about how if China has it their way, then you're going to see a lot of these Chinese cars and, made from Mexico in the United States. And he's like, you know what? Yeah, we can let that happen, but you're going to have to pay 100% tariff on it, right, is what he said down here. And that, but if we let that happen, in general, losing our jobs to these places rather than building our cars here because it costs too much of inflation and all that, we got to outsource everything. Yeah, it's going to be a bloodbath. You're going to really kill the auto industry here. So this is what he said verbatim during that rally. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build cars in Mexico and think that they're going to sell those cars in the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something, China. If you're listening, President Z, you and I are friends, but understand the way I deal. Those big monster car manufacturing plants you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that and not hire any Americans? You're going to sell the cars to us? No. We're going to put 100% tariffs on every single car, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, and if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath because obviously the Democrats don't give a shit. They're just going to just let it on through, just like they let the illegals on through, right? And no tariffs or nothing. And they're going to be a big time, auto sales in terms of cars from China made, Mexican made, and it's going to put American workers out of jobs. And then what do you got to say for that, right? And that's why I say it's going to be a bloodbath. And so how they take that out of context, Democrats are a bunch of idiots.
If this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
Fact, Trump was referring to the auto industry that will, in fact, face a bloodbath if Kamala enacts her radical climate agenda. Fourth, Kamala steals Biden's favorite talking point.
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate.
And that's been debunked many, many times, too. And it's been put to rest for years, and they keep bringing this up. And you know what's funny about this is that Democrats allow this stuff to happen all the time. Look at present day with all the universities, with the whole Hamas, Gaza, Israeli situation. What do you think that's going on right now under their watch, right? When you look at what's going on with them and what they just allow to happen and no repercussions, and they're playing both sides of, Hamas and the poor Gaza people, Palestinians, right? Oh my gosh, the poor Palestinians, but Hamas is running them. And then Israeli, situation and all the hate and violence and all that stuff that's going on, anti-Jew stuff that's happening now, that's real. It's happening. It's being shown, right? And you can't debunk that.
And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
Wait, do we really need to go over this again? First of all, when she says tiki torches, the whole thing kind of collapses for me. This may be the most debunked lie in all of politics, but she stuck with it. In fact, Trump specifically condemned these groups that she's talking about. I covered it at the time, in real time, here on Fox. It's all on tape. It's been there for, 7 years now. And finally, perhaps Kamala's biggest lie.
The President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's capital. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy.
And that's not even true, because if you look at new evidence, right, even Nancy Pelosi was recorded talking about how, to kind of corroborate what he was saying, he said that there's a lot of unrest happening here. He wants to kind of protect the Capitol. He asked Pelosi, hey, can you send in 10,000 National Guard to really just kind of make sure everything's going okay? Because, he obviously the results didn't go in his favor, but he said that if you guys want to protest, just protest peacefully. I mean, that's just all he asked for. He never said nothing. He never incited them. He just didn't want things to get out of hand as well, and that's why he requested, which he was denied by Pelosi, because I think at that point he lost the election. Pelosi says, I'm done with you. So no, you're not going to get those 10,000 National Guard. Tough luck, right? And then, the rest was what happened.
Since the Civil War.
And the thing about it is that he never incited it, right? And he stepped aside when it was time. So that was the thing about it. When it was time to really step aside when he had to, he did. Without any protest or nothing like that. Which this thing has been debunked. Plus, this is old shit that they're bringing up. Like, let's talk about what's currently happening now, instead of this bullshit stuff she's trying to bring up about Charlottesville, about the gun stuff, about the Green Deal, about all this past bullshit she's bringing up is stupid.
Forget the 9/11 thing. The anniversary is today. This adds a layer of a disgusting cruelty to this lie. And she's supposed to be the compassionate one. Of course, it's just another political statement, and a false one at that. Joining me now, Ben Domenech, editor-at-large of The Spectator, and Ari Fleischer, the former White House press secretary, both Fox News contributor. Ben, let's start with you. I know there's another lie you wanted to call out.
Yes, so I wanted to call out a lie that isn't just from Kamala, but it's from Lindsay Davis, one of the moderators who was working alongside Kamala.
Running mate. She was really the running mate.
Her support animal who was there. It's one of these things that I think is just so disgusting when it comes to the abortion issue.
Yeah, that's a big one too. They keep constantly badgering that, he's going to do a nationwide ban on day one, when he clearly said this whole time that there was a reason why Roe versus Wade was struck down, all right? And that it's not a federal issue. He's going to leave it up to the states to decide on that. But they have bigger fish to fry, other things to worry about. And how Kamala would say, hey, we don't want government interference in this thing, but it's like, well, that's what Trump is doing. He's trying to take the government out of it and let the states take care of it.
I want people to understand, and I say this as a pro-lifer, there have been some pro-lifers who've been disappointed in things that Donald Trump has said during this cycle, but I think that what you saw last night...
Especially supporting IVF, that if he's able to do it, he's going to, try to get IVFs provided with it covered for free. And it's like, wow, that's pretty crazy.
Was a reminder of how radical this ticket is from the Democrats. Truly the most radical pro-abortion ticket we've ever seen in the history of politics. And the fact that Lindsay Davis would come to Kamala's support to make the claim that no one is having these late-term abortions. It's not actually happening.
In Minnesota.
And Donald Trump, to his credit, was saying, wait, 7th, 8th, 9th month. In fact, in Minnesota, the state that obviously Tim Walz governs, when he became governor, he reversed a policy that was actually passed and signed into law under a Democrat governor, the Born Alive Infant Protection Act, that was designed to make hospitals care for infants who survived the abortion process, to give them every consideration in terms of trying to help them survive. He reversed that completely. And then, after he did that, he also reversed the reporting requirements, that because, frankly, he was being embarrassed by the fact that there were 5 infants who actually went through this process, were born alive. It is absolutely disgusting. It is vile, and it is a reminder of how radical this Democratic ticket is, and that the media, including ABC News, will run to their defense and sell lies to the American people.
Because why, Ben? They do not want the American people to know this is happening.
They don't want you to know this is happening. They want to pretend it isn't.
All right. Kamala couldn't keep her story straight on fracking last night. Watch this.
My values have not changed.
There you go. The fracking as well, right? And that's the key line. My values have not changed. So she's going to say whatever it is, copycatting, doing all kinds of shit in order to win, because her values have not changed. She's going to push her agenda.
I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States. We have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil.
But the thing about it is the Green Deal still relies on foreign products, right? You're still getting stuff manufactured from China, all the goods and products and all that from China. You're still getting all the stuff that you need, batteries and all that from them. So how's that a win for us if we're still relying on other foreign entities?
Sorry, which is it? Anyone trust her on this?
No, and this is where President Trump was strong. He said she will ban fracking, and that's exactly what he needs to do. You need to define her in these debates.
Come on. Why was she all of a sudden not ban fracking? Because California, they don't allow fracking when they say there's actually a plentiful resources of oil off the coast of California, especially Southern California, that if they allow fracking, that would really help out a lot in terms of not being foreign reliant on oil and stuff.
You need to hold her positions from 2019 around her and make her wear them. Make her wear them in 2024. Her flip-flops, her taking them back are meaningless. This is who she is.
All right, so that's what we got to talk about there. So she lied about a lot of shit. She didn't get fact-checked. Come to find out, that chick on the panel was a sorority sister. I wouldn't doubt that she got questions given to her beforehand. Say, hey, check it out, sister. This is what we got here. This is what we're going to do. Prepare and read this, study this, right? And then she didn't even really answer. If you really listen to her debate side of things, like Kamala didn't really answer the questions. She sidestepped the questions to make her statement, flat out statements on literally every question, all right? Or deflected and then kind of changed direction in terms of what she spoke about, shit like that. So that's the kind of stuff that she was pulling. And then, and then of course they questioned about the earrings she was wearing that night. If you look at Kamala earrings, right? Let's see here. There's a lot of talk about the earrings too. So earrings, earpieces, right? That they spoke about what she was wearing. So why is she wearing those for? So there's a little bit of conspiracy debate on that. I'm not going to dig into that in this particular episode, but they spoke about that. Like, what are they there for, right? So of course, anybody that's skewing left is going to just debunk anything and everything they say. Oh, that's just earrings. All right, but I don't give a shit. All right, it's stupid. Now let's talk about Trump's new proposal. All right, no taxes on overtime. All right, think about that for a second. No taxes on overtime. He was at an Arizona rally. She went to North Carolina day after the debate. And so yesterday, Trump talked about one of his other pieces of his economic policy, besides no taxes on tips, is no taxing on overtime. Think about that for a second. That's part of his tax cut deal that he's talking about. Oh man, in my workplace, they love overtime, right? And overtime is aplenty at my workplace, right? And man, think about that for a second. No taxes on overtime. Oh man, my coworkers, for example, they'll be all over that. I don't know if they're aware of that, but they'd be all over that, all right? Because the amount of overtime that a lot of my coworkers do, and we get paid pretty well to do what we do. Man, it is crazy that if they don't tax the overtime, how much, I mean, to think about all that money that you'll keep in your pocket, that's a serious win right there. And crazy good if implemented, all right? So, this is something great. And I don't know how Kamala would even come close to that. All right. I mean, he previously proposed ending taxes on tips and Social Security benefits as well. So think about that. Tax cuts on that stuff are overall, along with now no taxes on overtime. Shit, that is crazy good. Nowhere in the vicinity of Kamala in terms of, there's no way she would ever propose that. If she did, it's just straight copycatting. All right? Just like everything else she's done so far with the border wall and no taxes on tips. So, I can't wait to see what she has to say about that. All right? And, but that's something that, to me, is a great proposal. That, instead of stupid, here's a stimulus check, right? Which increases the debt because it's on the government of just printing money. And on top of that, here is we're going to do this with the stimulus checks, and then we're going to do all these different things, not for Americans but for illegals, right? Oh yeah, we'll do this. We'll give them all these different things, but not for Americans. It's for illegals, right? And that's what exactly the Democrats have been doing. So I can't wait to see what she's going to say about that. But no taxes on overtime. Oh man, you can't beat that. That's even better than no taxes on tips, to me. So we'll see what happens there. But I wanted to bring that up as well. I think that's a great proposal. And like I said, that's something that if my workplace, for example, was aware about, because I don't know if they're aware of it. I mean, to me, it's game over. This is great. All right, so I wanted to bring that up, and plus about all the lies being debunked. And that's all the Democrats are about. They're just dirty, and they can't play by the rules, and they just got to lie about everything. And it's so obvious anti-Trump they are. And so I just wanted to bring some common sense to light. All right? That not everything you see, especially that is skewed anti-Trump, is even true. That you got to really open up your eyes and see what's really happening out there. So with that, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, stay on top of everything we got going on. I got something else I wanted to talk about as well. It just pissed me off when I read about it the other day, but it's stupid. All right, it's just stupid. But I'm not going to talk about it here. But then you're gonna agree with me. Like, come on, man. Is California stupid soft? Is the government stupid soft? That's the question to me. But yeah, other than that, I'm out. And like I said, comment down below. I'll see you next one.